Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a proposed law could bring changes that affect all drivers in the Commonwealth. And the first bill to be passed in this year's legislative session is on its way to Governor Andy Beshear's desk. And we take a look at Iowa, where the first ballots in the long-awaited 2020 race for the White House will be cast later today.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 5:32 on this Monday. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. Madison has the beginning of this week off. Yesterday, absolutely gorgeous. Let's bring Brandon in for a breakdown of what to expect on this day after. But Brandon was out on the porch yesterday reading, and it was just almost a perfect day. You couldn't ask for much better.
Absolutely. I took a stroll yesterday down the Tanglewood Trail in downtown Whitesburg, and it was a fantastic day, a bit breezy. So if you were in the shade, it was a little colder, but if you were in the sunshine, it was fantastic. And we're also going to see even warmer temperatures today. Unfortunately, all this nice weather will not last. Let's take a look outside the WYMT studios this morning, and it is all quiet here in Hazard and across the region. We're seeing maybe just a little bit of cloud cover starting to work its way in. Temperatures, I don't know what's going on. It's not even a Ridge Valley split this morning. Some of the places that are typically a little colder are warmer this morning, but you got 30 in Jonesville right now. That's our cold spot. 54 in Williamsburg, just 3 counties over, actually 4 counties over, is one of the warmer spots this morning right there along the border. And then you see temperatures in the Big Sandy, 53 Prestonsburg and Pikeville, 52 Logan, 50 in Moorhead right now, but 39 down toward London. So all over the place this morning. You will have some frost in some locations. I had a little bit of my windshield this morning, so give yourself time to get the cars warmed up and give them a quick scrape as you head out. The weather app forecast, again, mainly sun and clouds for a while today, and as we get deeper into the evening, we'll see those start to thicken up there ahead of that system that's going to start affecting us later tonight. Temperatures close to 70 later today. Will?
All righty, Brandon. Thank you. Well, a missing Bell County man was found Sunday afternoon. Officials from the Bell County Sheriff's Department were concerned after someone found Ronald King's car abandoned. He was first reported missing on Saturday. Officials say King is now safe and with his family. And staying in Bell County, deputies arrested a man on Friday. He was accused of burglarizing a home. Officials say 52-year-old Jackie Wayne Howard Jr. pawned a class ring belonging to the homeowner. The homeowner was able to buy his ring back. A firearm and ammunition was also reported stolen and found at pawn shops. Officials believe there is another suspect involved in the burglary that has not been arrested. One woman is dead and 2 others are in the hospital after a crash in Rockcastle County on Saturday night. We have learned that 26-year-old Courtney Duff is the woman who was killed. Troopers believe she was driving the car that crashed. Krista Frost talked with state police to find out what caused the accident.
Troopers say it started when they noticed a car swerving on the road Saturday night.
And at that time, the vehicle that he was attempting to try to just routinely pull over sped up and passed several vehicles, and when it came back into its lane of traffic heading southbound towards Mount Vernon, the vehicle left the roadway and it like hit a little culvert.
Then a fence, and finally this home on US 25 near the Conway community. 2 people were thrown from the car, and the woman troopers believed to be the driver, Courtney Duff. She was taken to a local hospital where she died. As for the homeowners, they're okay, but one had minor injuries from a deer head that fell from the wall when the car hit this home. It's a situation troopers say could have been a lot less tragic.
Probably get pulled over, maybe get a citation for expired tags or seatbelt.
But a simple task like pulling over is something Pennington says hasn't been happening as much as it should.
It seems like it's happening more and more and more. You know, people not obeying, law enforcement. Just pull over. We're not the bad guys. We're just maybe seeing what's going on. You might have something minor wrong in your vehicle. We can get it fixed, In
Rockcastle County, Krista Frost, WKYT.
Now, officers do believe drugs and alcohol were involved. Right now, we don't know the conditions of the other people who were hurt in the crash. Officials from the Laurel County Sheriff's Office say deputies arrested a woman Friday night after she was driving under the influence. Officials identified the woman as 26-year-old Kelly Hyde of East Bernstadt. A deputy responded to a call about a non-injury crash. Officials say Hyde's truck had crashed into a power pole, splitting it in two. After further investigation, the deputy found Hyde had been drinking. She was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. A Kenton County jury found 40-year-old Jairo Martinez Hernandez guilty of assault. Hernandez stabbed another inmate with a handmade knife made from a piece of a mop back in July of 2019. An inmate was caught trying to pass marijuana to another inmate using a commissary cart. When jail staff took the cart away from the inmate, it deprived that particular dorm of snacks. In retaliation, Hernandez stabbed a man in the back several times. Hernandez was sentenced to 7 years and 6 months for the assault. Officials with the Sevierville Police Department in Tennessee say a Red Bank police officer is dead after being shot in the abdomen. Police say this happened during a domestic dispute Saturday evening. The victim, 41-year-old James Smith, was taken to the hospital where he later died. His wife, 37-year-old Melissa Smith, was arrested. Police officials say she faces first-degree murder charges. Investigators say a handgun was recovered from the scene. One Louisville man is behind bars after an investigation by the Cyber Crimes Unit within the Office of the Attorney General. Nigel Nicholas is charged with 1 count of tampering with a witness. Nicholas was arrested back in February of 2018. He was charged with 2 counts of human trafficking. Officials say Nicholas was working and profiting from the sale of illegal sex with teens over the internet. After being released on bond for human trafficking charges, police rearrested Nicholas, saying he brought a third party into Kentucky to pressure a human trafficking victim to recant a statement. West Virginia may soon require speedy testing and collection of rape kits. This is under a bill passed by the West Virginia House of Delegates. Lawmakers on Friday approved the proposal by a unanimous vote. This measure would require the kits to be submitted to the state police forensic lab within 30 days or as soon as possible after collection. It would also allow for the creation of a tracking process of the kits and would require a court order before law enforcement can dispose of the examinations. The measure now moves to the Senate for consideration. The first bill of the 2020 session is now heading to the governor's desk to be signed. House Bill 186 is legislation that deals with marketers and whether or not they're defined as independent contractors. The measure would eliminate some potentially expensive requirements for Kentuckians that operate direct sales businesses. It passed with a 25-7 vote on Saturday. A proposed law could bring changes that affect all drivers in the Commonwealth. State Representative James Tipton of Taylorville is sponsoring a bill that would ban all phone use in cars. Tipton says states with similar laws have already seen good results with fewer accidents. Several Kentuckians that have already commented on their support and doubts about the idea.
Now with smartwatches and all of the things you can do hands-free on a car, I really doubt they'll be able to.
The bill would make a few exceptions, for example, calling 911. Representative Tipton says he hopes to have a hearing on the bill in the next few weeks. The first ballots in the 2020 race for the White House will be cast today in Iowa. The state holds its caucuses this evening, and on the Democratic side, the race is too close to call. Michael George reports from Des Moines, Iowa.
We are going to beat Donald Trump.
It's the final stretch.
You've never had a greater responsibility than you have today.
And every second counts.
Our volunteers in a state of 3.1 million people have knocked on 500,000 doors.
The Democratic candidates are making a last-minute blitz across the state, with campaign volunteers going door to door to rally support. These last few hours are crucial because even now there are some caucus goers who are still undecided.
I'm kind of open to everything. I haven't delved into it enough to really see what each one's backing right now. So
I'm still undecided, but I have like a top 2 or 3. So
throwing a wrench into the race, the impeachment trial. The senators in the running have had to divide their time between Iowa and Capitol Hill, and the trial resumes today. As the Democratic senators head back to Washington, President Trump is sending dozens of his top aides here to Iowa. As part of your visit here aimed at stealing thunder from some of these Democrats who are all over Iowa right now?
It sounds like they're throwing their thunder and lightning at each other.
The latest CBS News poll shows former Vice President Biden and Senator Bernie Sanders in a dead heat, trailed by Pete Buttigieg and Senators Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar. But voters' second choices can play a role in a caucus, so this remains anyone's race. Michael George, CBS News, Des Moines, Iowa.
The next presidential nominating contest will be held in New Hampshire a week from tomorrow on the 11th of February. The impeachment trial of President Trump, as you heard, continues as closing arguments are set to be delivered today by House managers and President Trump's defense team. On Wednesday, the Senate will vote on whether to convict him and remove him from office. A vote for acquittal is a near certainty. The Republicans have a majority in the Senate, and some Democrats might join them as well. Although President Trump says his call with Ukrainian President Zelensky was perfect, some supporters concede it could have been handled better.
Generally speaking, going after corruption would be the right thing to do.
No, but going after the Bidens.
He did it maybe in the wrong manner.
Critics say now the president will face another jury on Election Day 2020. Voting in that race officially begins today with the first primary caucuses, of course, in Iowa. Yesterday marked the 95th anniversary of the completion of the Serum Run to Nome, Alaska, and a movie is being made to detail the dangerous but life-saving journey.
One more dry day is on the way, then our gloomy and soggy conditions return to the mountains. I'll tell you how long they'll last in about 3 minutes.